tucked in the heart of Bisbee, Arizona, is a hotel well known for its phantom guests that roam within its walls.
On this episode of the Paranormal Pool, we dive into the ghost stories of the Copper Queen Hotel.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Heather.
And I'm Michelle.
And welcome to the Paranormal Pool. This is our first episode. Today we'll be talking about the Copper Queen Hotel, which is in Bisbee, Arizona. If you've never been, I highly recommend going, even if you're not into the paranormal. It is a very, how would you say?
It's very fun, very artistic. It has very artsy vibe, but it's just the cutest sort of stacked in on itself town in southern Arizona.
Yeah, the people there are interesting, the buildings are interesting, the history is very interesting. So whether or not you're into the ghost busting thing or the spooks and you're not into that, there is just much really rich history in the town, and it's very quirky. I think it would be a word.
Yeah, there is lots to see and some pretty good food too.
Yeah, that's true. Shout out to the Bisbee table.
Yes.
So we wanted to investigate the Copper Queen. We had heard a lot about it. We decided to jump in the car and head to the Copper Queen. It is a very beautiful hotel. It was opened in 1902. Supposedly, they have never shut their double doors that leads into the hotel. They said that those doors have never been shut since the day it's been opened, which is kind of mind-blowing when you stand in the entryway of the Copper Queen. It's like you time traveled. You're back in that day. The lobby is very regal, and it's just, I don't know, it's like a time capsule. I feel like you walk into a time capsule.
It does. It takes you back in time to times when DeGrazia stayed there, Houdini, Teddy Roosevelt, and John Wayne all stayed in the Copper Queen Hotel.
Now, rumor has it, we had heard that there are 3 resident ghosts that people see all the time, but they said that there's a lot of other spirits that kind of roam the halls. In our case, when we went there twice. There were some claims that unfortunately we didn't get to experience, but there were some claims we did experience and more. So we thought we would bring those and share those with you guys. So that way, maybe if you go, you can have the same experience we did.
Absolutely. It would be great if you did experience what we did. We could start with just in the lobby and elevator area with what we personally experienced in those areas.
Yes. So just in the lobby area, they say that you get your name called, or you can hear whispering going up the grand staircase. And in our case, that definitely did happen to me. Michelle went upstairs to grab cameras and equipment, and it was pretty late at night, and I was sitting on the sofa in the lobby, and from the staircase, I heard my name whispered. And honestly, I thought it was just Michelle coming down the stairs. So I looked around, and she wasn't there. And as I realized I was completely alone, the elevator door opened across the lobby and Michelle popped out. And I think I about shook my head in disbelief, who the heck just said my name right behind me? So I was telling her about this situation, and she had our EMF reader in her hand. And it literally launched out of her hand onto the floor and into pieces.
It shattered, guys. It shattered. I think it was in 5 pieces.
It was completely insane. So we were like, okay, let's go back upstairs. We jumped in the elevator, and as the elevator door was closing, Michelle hears her name called.
We both hear I turned to look at her because I hear someone call my name, and I naturally think it's Heather, but it was a man speaking, and he was in the elevator with us, and he said my name.
Yeah, she looked at me, but I was already looking to my right. So we're both looking right, thinking, who in the heck? And there was no one really in that hotel that night. It was pretty dead. No pun intended. And it was just a trip. I mean, first of all, getting into the elevator at the Copper Queen is a treat in itself. It is like a Disney ride.
It is very tight. So there wouldn't have been room. There really is barely enough room for 3 people in the elevator.
Yeah, don't think that you and your family are going to show up and roll in all your luggage, because it's not going to happen. Like,
no, it'll be a one suitcase at a time.
Yeah, it'll be like 2 people, 2 suitcases. That's all you can fit in there.
Yeah, so no one was standing behind us. No one was around us. Yes, definitely a genuinely spooky experience.
That first floor itself, I feel has I don't want to say the most activity, but that is where we experience most of the activity. Is a lot on that first floor in the lobby area, in this back bathroom area that kind of leads out the back, and in the dining room. In the dining room, we had heard that there is a woman that, an apparition of a woman that floats through the dining room. The lady that was on duty that night, which we very much love her, she was great, and she told us about this apparition that floated through the dining room, and we said, what did you do when you saw her? And she goes, I don't know, I keep to myself. She's got her thing to do and I got mine. I don't bother her. And it was so funny. And so we were like, we have to investigate the dining room.
Yes. We did investigate the dining room. We weren't in there for, I don't even think we were in there for 5 minutes. And I was walking over towards the kitchen, and I can't remember what prompted me to walk over there. There was something that drew me over, and as soon as I got within, like, I say 10 feet of the double doors, they started to come open towards me. Now, we were on live stream when this happened, so I recall being very taken aback and people being surprised that I would walk backwards away from a ghost, but I wasn't sure what was on the other side of those double doors that were trying to open on me.
During our live stream too, like, people saw the doors open as well. I remember one of our viewers, Sherry, was freaked out. She was like, I would be running. Oh my God. She was, you guys see that happen? Like, everyone was kind of freaked out. I was laughing because it really took me off guard, because I had never been in that situation where doors just kind of open in front of you per se. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the chick. She's coming out. And it was a very eye-opening experience to be there. And so if you're ever eating in the dining room area, it's a little active down there. We also experienced like lights flashing, because we went out the second time and the lights were flashing, and we also heard footsteps. I believe the first time we went, we were like hearing like the boards creaking. It's a very creaky hotel as it is. And if there was a ton of people there, I'd say, oh, it's probably upstairs, but there was no one there, and it sounded like it was in the room.
It did not sound like it was upstairs at all. It sounded like our table was approached by someone.
Yeah, and we set up the cat balls, just like the light up cat balls. If you touch them, they go off. And we had some of those set up, and some of them did go off. We tried to do some recordings in there, and I got to be honest, I don't remember if we got recordings in that room.
I don't remember recordings inside. Now, we did have some good EVPs from right outside.
Yeah, in the lobby area, that opening area, which kind of makes sense because where energy goes in and out, a lot of doorways, you'll have that energy that's still there. And I feel like that's probably why there's so much chatter right there, and there's so much talking, is that's where probably people hung out. That's probably, they came in and out of that area, and just the footprint itself.
Well, the energy itself has not stopped moving through there in 120 years.
Yeah.
So that really says something about that. And we also did get outside some activity when we were sitting out late at night on the porch right outside of the dining room. And we set a recording device over at the church steps just next door.
Yeah, when you're out there and you're outside, there's a church next door, and there's kind of like this little walkway. It is a little creepy out there at night. We were out there pretty late by ourselves, and there was a lot, just a lot of chatter on EVP, and it just had a creepy vibe. It just was very creepy. We caught a very non-human kind of growl that first night we were there. outside. And it was very strange, very strange.
It does make you wonder, too, because there's a lot of history just around the corner from there in Brewery Gulch. And, I mean, it was rough. It was a really rough town and a really rough way to live.
Yeah, it was a mining town. So, lots of booze, lots of fighting, lots of crime.
Lots of courtesans.
Yeah, lots of courtesans. And speaking courtesans, the Copper Queen has a resident courtesan that her room supposedly is very, very haunted. Michelle actually stayed in that room. We actually got keys to that room, and Michelle stayed in that room and had quite the experience in there.
I did. Most nights were really quiet, and I kept a camera on to see if anything happened, and not a lot happened. But on one particular night, I woke up to go to the restroom and woke up as drunk as I've ever been in my entire life. And I hadn't had a single drink that night. I probably hadn't had a single drink in months at that moment. And fell into the dresser, fell into the bathroom, literally like I was a sloshing drunk, and managed to get myself back to the bed after going to the bathroom and doing the spins for a while, and woke up fine. But she got me. They told me the next morning, they said, well, she wanted you to feel it because she was quite a drinker.
Yeah, the history of that is, she was sort of the hotel courtesan. She actually has a ramp. They actually built a ramp in the back. Yeah. Her dad was the property manager, I believe they told us, of the building, or the owner.
I think he was the owner.
Yeah. And he had built a ramp out on the back of the hotel so that way she could bring her customers through the back so they weren't coming through the front. So she had the very back room, and there's a door, and it had a ramp that you can go up. And so...
It's still there.
It's still there. And she was quite the partier. She was a big drinker. The claims are people see her in the staircase dancing naked or in her like jammies. and then also two men will wake up with her at the foot of the bed dancing naked, and she likes to touch men's feet.
I've actually seen a very popular video of her touching a very famous man's feet.
Yeah. And sadly, she killed herself in the hotel. The claim is that she went up to the third floor and threw herself off the balcony of that and hung herself. She fell in love with one of her customers, and he did not want anything to do with her, and she was just so sad that she killed herself in the hotel. So it is such a sad story, and while we were there, we were trying to be very respectful with her as much as possible. Just because it is, it's just so sad. It's just so sad. I hate to think of her stuck in there.
What woman has not been sad?
Right.
We can all, what man or woman has not been sad? We just resonate so hard with her suffering.
Yeah. It was a really, really sad tale. We were hoping that we could get a little bit more from her. But, we didn't get too much recordings or anything like that. We did record, I think the most EVPs we recorded in the room was the very first time we stayed in the Copper Queen. We left the audio running as we went downstairs and ate and came back and everything. And it sounded like somebody was walking around our room and going through our stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very clearly rifling through our things, but you couldn't see any movement. But there were clearly footsteps rustle through this.
I always bring a ton of bags of crap to put in the bathroom, makeup and hair stuff. And I think we even put our snacks, we put a bunch of snacks in a grocery bag. And in the audio, you can hear the bags rustling. And I would love to say that it was the air conditioning, but the problem is air conditioning is in one spot in the whole room.
It was, and it wasn't running.
and it wasn't running, but it's like one of those window kind of, what are they called?
It's a window unit.
Yeah, like a window unit, and it doesn't really like blow all the way to the bathroom. Like, because I slept in the bed next to it, and I could not feel it at all. Like, it doesn't blow very hard. I laugh about that because when we walked into the room, Michelle saw the air conditioning and was like, "This is my bed." And I was like, okay. But...
Oh, did I pay for that? Did I pay for that? So we set up all of our instruments. We were getting going, and I was claiming the cool bed under the air conditioner. She was like, fine, I don't care, as long as I get a bed. And then the instruments started going off.
In the middle of her bed.
In the middle of the bed. Not under the bed, not above the bed, right in the middle of the bed. So it was funny at first. It was really funny at first. And then it got not so funny that night when it was time to go to sleep.
So I fall asleep. I'm pretty dead asleep. I'm sleeping hard. And all of a sudden, I hear Michelle go, "Ah!" And she jumps out of bed. And she's like, "Ah!" And then she ran into the bathroom. And I was like, what is going on? And then I couldn't help it besides just start laughing. Because I was like, what in the world? And she got, like, very ill.
I was very sick. To backstory why I screamed and jumped out of bed. I was laying there and I was having kind of a hard time going to sleep. And I rolled over and I got cozy. And then I felt something very cold and icy cozy up behind me. Literally just like lay in bed behind me, and it felt cold. It felt green. I'm not even sure how to explain how it felt green, but right after that, I was really, really sick.
She flew out of that bed, like literally Scooby-Doo ran to the bath, like whoom, she was gone. And I just remember thinking, holy shit, I'm so glad I didn't have that bed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. And it was really, I couldn't sleep after that, of course. So there was no sleep for me that night. I was awesome the next day, I bet. But yeah, that was not comfortable. I don't like the touching of the dead person in the bed.
And that was not even a room that was like their quote unquote haunted room that you can book. They have like a couple rooms that you can like book that are supposedly like really haunted. This was just like a regular room, and we actually had a lot of cool things happen in that room. So I kind of feel like, yeah, they have their haunted rooms, but they also, I feel like you can't escape the history of that hotel, whatever room you're in. Even the bartender downstairs said that there's something that kind of comes to the back hallway and goes through the bar. There was a lady that was standing in the hallway looking at pictures, and a man was standing over her shoulder, and when she kind of looked back because he was getting kind of too close to comfort, he wasn't there, and it kind of freaked her out. And she talked to the lady up front, and she was like, oh yeah, we see him we hear about him all the time. He's like a cowboy that roams that back hallway. So I kind of feel like no matter where you are in the hotel, you'll run into something. On the third floor, there's supposed to be a man with a cloak and a top hat, and he smells like cigars. We did run into the smoke smell once. I think the first trip we smelt it. Mm-hmm. But on the second trip, we were trying, and we couldn't capture anything on that.
Mm-mm. Not on him. We did have a little bit of activity from Billy. Mm-hmm. Up on the second floor also. Mm-hmm. When Parker was with us. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys, we came back to Bisbee the second time, and that's when I stayed in Julia's room, and Heather stayed in Billy's room.
And that room is filled with toys. People leave a lot of toys for Billy. Supposedly, he was a little boy. He was the son of one of, like, the chambermaid or the maids that wandered off the property and drowned in the river behind the hotel. They said that he comes back looking for his family. It is a definitely creepy room. We didn't have too much happen in there, but the things I feel like that did happen, would make me want to investigate it again, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
They say that Billy also likes to move things around in your room. So if you ever stay in Billy's room, bring candy and put it on the tables, because supposedly Billy likes to move candy around. So he loves toys and stuff, but he'll hide shoes. I think they said your shoes will be missing, earrings, like any kind of jewelry, and then candy. He loves to move candy around the room and take it. So
he didn't take any of our stuff, but
no.
But he probably was full from.
However, I did hear a knock on the door at one time at point of the night, and we opened the door and there was candy at our door. So
that is true. That is true.
So I don't. I'm sure that's a hotel thing that they do that. Whoever maybe like rents that room out. If so, that's an incredibly cute idea,
isn't it?
I love that.
Yeah. Oh no, Billy left candy.
Yeah, there has been like, some claims of certain things like knocking in Billy's room. At one point, we did hear knocking. We kind of debunked it. It was pipes in the wall. But when I was in the room by myself, I wanted to use the bathroom and freshen up and everything, and I had just the ghost tube going, and as I was in there, it was saying the most profound things, and it was very like intelligent. And I did get a little freaked out being in the room by myself in the bathroom. I did feel like somebody was on the other side of the wall, like on the other side of the door. And that was like the only time I felt kind of weird in Billy's room. I can't tell you about night if anything happened, because my son came and we had to keep the TV on all night because he was a little freaked out.
Oh no, did he do this?
So Seinfeld was running all night in our room, so I did not get much sleep because I was whatever. Don't sue us, Seinfeld, for that. Don't sue us for that.
We don't have anything.
But it was definitely a weird trip. So Julia's room, Billy's room, the Teddy Roosevelt room is supposed to be haunted. We got a key for that room. We didn't stay in there, but they were very kind and let us kind of poke around in there. And it is a weird, vibey room. It's a very beautiful room.
Oh, it is gorgeous. It is an absolutely gorgeous room. And I would love to do a full investigation in there, because you can feel the presence in it, but it's not as obvious. It's interesting. The different rooms they definitely have different personalities.
Yeah, I definitely feel that it was, I don't want to say heavy, because I don't feel like it was like heavy in that room.
Sort of electric.
Yeah, it was a definite vibe in that room. I would love to go back. And plus, it's just a gorgeous room. It's so cool in there. Some of the rooms just, they look as if they did back then. And, you're kind of like, oh, it's very time capsule. But when you walk into the Teddy Roosevelt room, everything is just so elegant that I just was like, oh man, I wish this was my room. This is so nice. It just was very lush.
Yes, I was going to say it was very affluent.
Yeah. It
had a very ritz feel to it.
Yeah, there's another room in the Copper Queen Hotel that is supposed to has a darker energy. We did investigate there. We went in there, yeah.
We did. We set up some equipment and some light experiments, and we taped. Now, we will, of course, go through footage again because it happens. We could miss something, but we really didn't catch anything in that room that night. We did have an experience, though, right down the hall from that room that we could share with you guys. That's kind of funny.
Yes. So we were going to the elevator, and they have this kind of like little landing. It has like a little table. It's actually really cute. Like if you were just gonna have a coffee and like maybe read or something, kind of like a little nook. And we were walking over there. And the reason why we stopped is because, this is going to sound so weird, but it feels like that hotel breathes. Like you feel like the floor is moving and the walls are moving, like someone's breathing.
To a rhythm.
Yeah, it's very weird. And I thought, man, I must be going crazy because I can feel this whole hotel like breathe in and out. So we were kind of standing there talking about it. And it sounded like... it sounded like something was like kind of rustling around. We kind of walked around this corner and there was a door that kind of led into the attic. And we were like, we should go in there. We were like going to sneak in.
I was all, okay, so I'm all for this. And I'm getting ready to record. Because we're going up. Because we were told nobody was there. The door wasn't supposed to be open and no one was there. But the door was open, a little teeny crack. So I was doing it. I was forging ahead and I went to grab the doorknob. And I swear I barely made contact with it when we heard loud footsteps coming down the stairs on the other side.
Yeah, loud.
Now, I don't know if y'all believe in someone being able to transport from one place to another. But I can tell you it happened. Because I turned around to look for Heather. Because I was going to run. I didn't want to run her over. She was nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Gone. Like the wind.
It's like this very long hallway, too. I think I took 4 steps. And I was at the end of the hallway. And I had, like, our equipment backpack on. I had a camera with a tripod. And I was literally leaping down the hallway. I got to the other end, and I was laughing so hard that I fell over because I hit the wall, and my backpack was so heavy. I kind of stumbled to the side, but then I was crying. But then I was out of breath because I have never run that fast, I think, in my life. Ever.
Oh, goodness.
But it was hilarious.
We did not get caught by the attic monster, which turned out just to be a person who was just staying in her spot. This is where she stays. But yes, it was terrifying, you guys. Real people scare us.
Real people are very scary. Ghosts, terrifying. I can handle. Real people, freaking terrifying. But yeah, that was really, really crazy. They have some really great rooms. They were really, really nice and accommodating when we were there. And just was like very much, we would run down there. When we first ran, we ran down to the front desk lady who is hilarious. And we were like, oh my gosh, someone just ran down there. Or someone just came down the stairs and we ran so fast. And she's like, you guys ran? She's like, some Ghostbusters you are. And we were cracking up laughing.
We were dead. But when we told her the door was open, she immediately became concerned.
She was
because no one was supposed to be there. So after a very adventuresome trip up there with her, we discovered that the person who was supposed to be there was there. But I will never forget Miss Chrissy and the Copper Queen.
They give ghost walks. They do like a ghost tour of that area. We actually accidentally walked through one of them with equipment. We were like, we turned around the corner. We were like, oh, sorry. But it looks really, really cool. And I know a lot of people take it and they seemed like really happy with them. They've been doing them for a while. It is just a very cool place. But there's so many rooms to explore. Like if you didn't get one of their like quote unquote haunted rooms, be prepared. Like be prepared around every corner of that hotel because a lot of the spirits that they talk about actually roam the staircases and the hallways. So some of them not even in the room. They're like roaming around. There's a lot of pianos in the hotel. So I was so hoping that we would have got like a piano playing by itself or hearing something like that. We really didn't hear anything like that. We heard people playing the piano, even though they're not supposed to. We heard people playing the pianos, but because you could hear them laughing and kind of partying and stuff. It definitely is a party town. Actually, there's a lot to do. So if you have like a group of friends that, you know, you want to go and like hit some of the like local like bars and stuff and like live music, and it actually is a very cool little town.
Oh yeah, there's no shortage of entertainment there that's homegrown and really cool. And I'm even following some people now on Instagram that we never got to see while we were there that I'm like, okay, I want to go back.
Yeah, I mean, they have a cute little town and a lot of shops and a lot of local art, and it was awesome. It was very, very cool. We would love to go back again and investigate the Oliver House, and, you know, there's all these other hotels that were there. But the Copper Queen, I think, is just so... It's a hotel, but I feel like it's a person. Like, it has its own heartbeat. It's just a very weird hotel.
I would agree with you. She is, she's very much alive.
So if you guys have had any kind of experience at all at the Copper Queen, reach out to us. You can leave a message if you're listening to us on Anchor. You can actually leave a voice message for us and tell us your experiences. We would love to hear them. Or you could reach out to us at evpinvestigates.com. That's our website with all the good things attached. So you can follow us on all the things: TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and take a look at all of the investigations. And you'll see the pictures that we got from the Copper Queen.
Yes, definitely. Please do. Please check us out and let us know what you guys think. And share your ghost stories definitely with us on any of your locations around Arizona.
Yeah, we would love to hear them, guys. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We're so excited to be here and for this to be our first episode ever. We appreciate you listening, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much for listening to the Paranormal Pool with Heather and Michelle.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.